Hello, 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 Elizabeth.
Hi, Talia. Hi, everybody.
Hello, hi, everybody. Talia Wardar and Elizabeth are here. and welcome to our introductory session about what flow coaching is, our processes, our curriculum, our methodology. So we hope that today, in our session today, we will be able to give you a taste of what flow coaching is about. My name is Talia Vardar. I am a master certified coach and a psychologist, and one of the founders of the Flow Coaching Institute. So I will tell you a bit about myself, but before I do that, I would like to introduce you with a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful coach, Elizabeth. And she has many qualities. Like she's an actor, she's a coach, she's a flow certified coach. But Elizabeth, I want you to introduce yourself and I want you to share your story with us. Can you please share your story with our audience?
It's my honor and such a pleasure to be here with you. Thank you so much. And thank you to everybody. It's an honor to be here with you. I absolutely love this program. I've taken it now 4 times. I'm in my fourth time and I'm still completely inspired, learning new things, very excited. Um, So, to tell you a little bit about my journey, because maybe it will speak to your own journey. Um, I began as an actor and in the theater, and as I was pursuing my acting and my schooling, I became also fascinated with the teachers. I was amazed at what they were able to bring out in all of us and these amazing transformations. So I decided to also become a teacher. And, um, and then the teaching path took me to a path of something called drama therapy, which is a form of creative arts therapy. So then I became a creative arts therapist utilizing drama and art. Um, and I did that for many years, but a little bit before COVID, I felt that I was not happy, not really fully fulfilled, that being a creative arts therapist wasn't quite the right fit for me and my personality and my skills. And one of my professors suggested during COVID that I really look into becoming a coach, that she thought that's what would be the best fit for me. And she said, "Oh, there are many programs. You can just get certified very quickly," which struck me as a little bit odd. Um, so I researched many programs and I came across three, and three of them were not accredited by the International Coaching Federation, and two of them did not tell the truth. And that was very upsetting. I double checked and I saw they were not accredited. And I passed. And then I found another place that was accredited with the ICF, and I took the course. It was over a 3-day period, 8 hours for 3 days, and the manual was 200 pages thick. And then by the end, they said, "You are now a certified coach." And that seemed absurd to me. And even though I could have just stopped there, um, why would I do that if I wasn't fully prepared? And I was overwhelmed and disappointed, though the material they shared was really very good. There was no way to digest it in that period of time. And it seemed that people were just there to get their certification and didn't really much care about really becoming a coach. So I ended up finding Flow Coaching Institute on my search, and they looked very interesting, very exciting. Information looked really great, but frankly, I was really suspicious of any program. So I saw that they had creative arts coaching, which was something that was exactly up my alley. It excited me, and Talia has a fantastic background. She is a psychologist, an art therapist. She is a master coach. She's done many things. She's worked with many, I believe, Fortune 500 companies. Um, her resume sounded excellent to me. And I reached out and I saw that the class she was offering wasn't for about 5 or 6 months. And I really had to do it right away. And I really implored them, please, please, is there any way? And They said, no, the course is not being offered. And so I said, please, then I would like to take privates. And Talia is extremely busy, as you can imagine. And she was going on vacation. And she was very kind and generous. She said, okay. And I was thrilled, but still suspicious, of course. And I had my first session with her and I was blown away. And I've had some of the best teachers in the world. I can honestly say that. I have several degrees, and so I know a fantastic professor when I meet one. The session is still very memorable. I had a huge breakthrough. Um, I felt understood. Talia held space for me and silence. Um, I understood things about myself that I hadn't before. Um, she helped me clarify what my true goals were, and it was a fantastic experience. So then I went on to take um, modules 1 through 5. Now, modules 1 through 5 um, is your core foundation. And from your core foundation, you can become a certified flow coach. However, if you take modules 1 through 6, I have not taken 6 yet. If you take 1 through 6, you can become um, a professional coach. But you must do many hours and then you can become a master coach. But I think that takes something like 3,000 hours. Talia will clarify for me. But I must say that in modules 1 through 5, the architecture is very elegant. Um, it's very, very profound, but it's very doable. And so, though I was a little nervous, just like all of the new coaches, I found each class very exciting. I found the material easily digestible. I felt I had to stretch some. I had to be fully present, as you are when you're learning. And then each class had a lesson. And then you were to work with your partner on the thing that you learned. So you would be partnered up and you would go into a session and you would practice. And that really leveled up my feeling of confidence and those I was working with, because initially, of course, you're nervous when you're doing something new. Um, I'm in my fourth time and I'm still inspired. Like I said, I'm still learning. And I also can honestly say that each group that I've encountered have been the loveliest people and from all different backgrounds. A lot of coaches come to this course because they want to add new tools to what they're already doing. Um, and some of them maybe don't feel as excited. Maybe their materials become slightly dry. Maybe some coaches come because their companies have sent them. Some of their companies will pay for them to learn a new modality, and they've heard of Talia and the program. And some people come like me who have a varied background and want to put an umbrella around what they were doing and reconceptualize it. So I was no longer going forward as a therapist, but going forward as a coach, but having all of these other offerings that I have brought with me, and then the new tools that I've learned. So, and then some of you may be coming to this completely new to coaching. And I can honestly say, I think it's a trustworthy, fantastic program. And part of what I love about it so much is that it's based on um, the psychology of flow, among other things. And I'm sure most of you have heard when an athlete or an artist, but mostly an athlete maybe, is in the zone or in a flow state, and it feels marvelous. And for some of us, it may be cooking a perfect a meal, making a beautiful cake. For some of us, it may be doing sport. Maybe we don't do it professionally, but it's something that we love to do. So it's a state where you're completely focused, where you lose all sense of time. It's something that you would do not for money necessarily or for fame or reputation, but simply for the sake of doing it. Um, it's something where you lose a sense of self consciousness. Um, Now, the challenge needs to meet the skill level. Or maybe the challenge is just a tiny bit higher than your skill level so that you have to stretch yourself, which is what the total focus is, because you have to be totally focused when you are doing something where you need to use all of yourself. And for example, like certain basketball players have said, they could be playing the game and they're so focused and they're so in the zone, and they go to shoot the basketball and the hoop becomes extremely big. So, for example, yesterday I was coaching one of my fellow classmates, a wonderful, wonderful young lady, and she is a school teacher in Hawaii. And we had such a marvelous session. I felt all of the characteristics of flow, and it only reiterated to me that I am in the exact right place, going towards the exact right thing. Because I think most of us go into coaching because we enjoy or we love helping other people reach their goals or be happy and joyful. So, I think I've shared a lot. Thank you for listening, and I'm open to any questions, and to give the floor to Talia so she can clarify anything I've said, correct anything I may have said. So thank you.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you, Elizabeth. And I think listening as like coming from a background, a different background, and being in the journey of transitioning into becoming a coach, flow coach. You are a flow coach already, but like, building that practice, building that business, what you share with our audience, I think it makes a lot of sense to them. I'm sure it resonates with them. And for those of you who are with us, we received some questions for today's session, and we will be answering those questions. But please do not hesitate to chat in the comments box your questions, your comments, whatever comes to you. Let's turn this session into an interactive one. So we're looking forward to hearing from you. And please stay with us until the end of the hour, because we will be sharing with you some meaningful gifts to ease your process of becoming a coach, if that is what you want. So, what we are trying to do at the Flow Coaching Institute is we are not only trying to teach a profession, and give you the skills to become a successful coach, give you the skills to become an effective and confident coach. We already do that. But on top of it, what we're trying to achieve is we want to give you an experience that you won't forget. And we want you to really work on yourself as a coach, become aware of what you want to change in different areas of your life, and feel more productive, improve your focusing skills, improve your attention, educate your attention, and to direct it to the right places in your life, and feel happier forever. So that's what we want to achieve. So you're learning to become a certified flow professional coach through Flow Coaching Institute and International Coaching Federation. But on the other hand, the journey itself is really transformational. And one of the former students said, it has changed her life forever. The course has changed her life forever for all the good reasons. And so then, shall we start? Let's start. I want to share my story. For those of you, if you heard me sharing my story, and if I'm repeating myself, apologize, but I think it makes sense to a lot of people. I have a background in corporate. I was an executive for many years. And I worked hard. Like, there were times where I worked for minimum 8 hours, but 12 hours a day for years. And I remember one specific scene. I was 8 months pregnant and I was an executive. And I left the office at 10 p.m. Because there was a deadline. And then I was driving a car. And I had this, I don't know what experience, but almost like, a meta like experience, out of my body experience. Something spoke to me and said, what are you doing with your life? You have a baby in your belly. And I went home and then I reflected about the voice that I heard. And then I decided to change my life. And coming from a corporate executive background, for those of you who have a similar background, there is so little sense of flow in the corporate environment. It's all about, it doesn't have to be, but mostly it becomes about the politics and bureaucracy and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And it's not a surprise to me that only 30 to 35% of the workplace population in North America states that they are engaged in their workplace. This is a Gallup research data, and this information hasn't changed in the last 25 years. I mean, if you think about it, we've learned a lot about the flow states. We learned about a lot about what is a good business, human psychology, motivation, productivity. We have a better technology than 25 years ago, but yet people are still disengaged. Majority of people are still disengaged with their work. There are a lot of reasons, of course. I mean, this is something that we will be discussing in our next live session with one of my fellow colleagues, Ed Rowell. But, being disengaged means that you are not experiencing flow. And if you think about it, the modern people spend at least minimum 7-8 hours at work a day minimum. This is in Canada, but in other places it's even more. And if you're disengaged, imagine you're disengaged, you dislike your job, or for other reasons you're stressed all the time for 7-8 hours a day, 5 days a week. What a waste of potential. What are we doing with our lives? And I've been there. I totally get it. I understand. And I help so many other managers, executives, and other people to reclaim, to gain back their flow. And coming from that background, I thought on that night that I left my job and had that like out of body experience, I decided to do something about this. And I decided to introduce the psychology of flow introduce tools and strategies to people to do something, to change whatever that needs to be changed that is within their control. And this was in 2000, I'm having a menopausal moment right now, 2002 maybe. And then since then, I've been re-educating, reskilling, upskilling, whatever. I went back to school, became a psychologist, and then I went back to school. I became a certified coach, and then since then, I've been working on this passionately, really helping the people from the work life to claim their flow back and also learn the tools. And I couldn't do it on my own. I need other people. That's why we started Flow Coaching Institute. Now, people like Elizabeth, like flow coaches, are part of this mission. Day by day, they're helping others to gain their flow back or to imagine what flow means to them. So that's the mission of the school. For those of you who asked this question, that's what we have been working on, because we get a lot of questions about what is your methodology about, what is your model, and what is flow about. So this is what flow means to us. And so can we bring up the slides, please? Maybe the next slides. Yeah. So having worked in the space of coaching and in the space of psychology, I can list what prevents people from experiencing flow in 5 categories. So top five barriers, I would say, that keep us away from experiencing flow, which means not experiencing fulfillment and not experiencing contentment, not experiencing joy in the present moment. Uh, the first one is like the survival habits. So each of us is designed to survive. That's existential, right? And we learn to survive. And some of us, although some of us, of course, need to survive. That's, like babies, they have to survive. But a lot of us, although we don't need to survive, we act like we need to survive. And when we act from that place of survival, we are not creative anymore.
Yes.
We're stuck in those survival habits and we just cover the bare minimum and we don't tap into our creative potential. We don't think about what is possible. And survival means stress, and we live in constant stress. And sometimes that takes us to depression even. The second one is fixed mindset. So fixed mindset means that we are not learning or refusing to learn from our experiences. And we really, our focus, our attention is really on keeping the status quo versus learning, growing, and appreciating what we have. So that the mindset of fixed mindset, the mental model of the fixed mindset is a problem orientation. So our attention goes to what can go wrong and what is lacking, and versus what I am learning and what is possible. And the third one is fear of uncertainty, fear of the unknown. And again, when the fear of unknown taps in, like creeps in, it takes us back to survival. And then there's no creativity. Instead of trusting the process, we prefer to respond to that fear of the unknown with fight, flight, freeze. And when you are in the zone of fight, flight, freeze, you don't tap into a flow state. It's the opposite of the flow state. And the fourth one is the fear of failure. That's very common as well. But what it makes to us is it stops us from dreaming,
Mm.
dreaming a better state of being, because our attention again is on the fear of failure, on what can go wrong, what can sabotage us, what can prevent us from being successful, instead of using that capacity, that potential of imagination to create what flow looks like to us, whether at work, whether in relationships, whether in money situation, whether in love, romance. We keep thinking about subconsciously, of course, most of the time, what can go wrong and how we can fail. And then it's almost like, self-actualization fear. So it becomes true. And the fifth barrier is the lack of internal and external skills, which means that we are made of habits, right? We are so wired with our habits that come from the past, and we do not have the skills to rewire our brain, to teach us to unlearn what we learn, and to teach us the skills that will help us feel more content with the past, fulfilled in the present, and be optimistic about the future. And if you don't have these three pillars, uh, probably you won't experience a flow state. So, contentment with the past, experiencing fulfillment in the present, and optimism for the future. So, those are skills that we're teaching in our program to our coaches so that they go outside and they coach other people and then help other people to gain these skills as well. And Elizabeth gave an example about like athletes, right? Or like cooking, when she described what a flow state means. An athlete or an artist or mothers, like, or fathers, like parents, um, when they are engaged in the activity, like for an athlete, it's sports, for an artist, it's creative process, for parents, it's that moment of carrying your baby and learning how to nurture, how to take care of your baby, right? And you really feel your oneness when you're in that state. You feel whole. You feel like you are one with whatever you're engaged with. And you don't question. You don't question if something will go wrong, or you don't have that doubt or insecurity or fear of failure. Instead, your attention is fully immersed in the present moment with the activity or with the conversation or with the care, whatever you're busy with, and everything feels like complete. So you experience completion, you connect with your own wholeness. And when that happens, you don't worry about the outcomes. You don't worry about the results. You just enjoy yourself. You just enjoy and you trust the process. So that's what athletes do. Like, the Elizabeth gave about some of the athletes, like Michael Jordan, for example, told us about how he felt when he was playing. He said he was feeling one with the ball and with everything else. And imagine, would you like to have this type of experience, that sense of oneness, that sense of contentment, that sense of fulfillment in your own life, whether at work, whether at a chosen aspect of your personal life, relationships, love, finance, romance, personal interests. Who wouldn't want this, right? Who wouldn't want to experience flow in life? This is what we are teaching. And we're giving our coaches, and hopefully you will be one of those, and you the skills to learn how to create flow in your life and feel happier eventually. So, and that's why it's so meaningful. What we are doing is so meaningful. We work hard, but it doesn't feel like work because we experience flow. When you are experiencing flow, when you're in the zone, in the state of flow, work doesn't feel like work anymore. Just like Elizabeth described about her conversation with her coachee. So work doesn't feel like work anymore. Work feels like a medium that increases our sense of flow. That's what we are trying to achieve. And that's our mission. And coming to maybe the foundations of flow coaching, if we talk about what constitutes the foundations of flow coaching, can you please bring the next slide? So we're following the footsteps of two masters, I would have to say, pioneers of humanistic psychology and positive psychology. Carl Rogers was the father of humanistic psychology, and Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi was the one of the pioneers of positive psychology. So we follow their footsteps, and positive psychology and the flow model developed by Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi. And Carl Rogers was the first psychologist in the history of modern psychology that talked about the importance of relationship and put the coachee in the center of the relationship. So that's what we believe in. That's why we follow the individual's agenda and their energy. And neuroscience, of course, is very important to us. And there are a lot of principles that are part of our curriculum that comes from neuroscience and their creative studies. And I'm an expressive arts therapist as well. So we have a lot of techniques and methods that we adopted from expressive therapies into coaching. And questions are creative questions, to thought-provoking creative questions are so important in professional coaching. And systems approach and some of the behavioral and cognitive approaches are in the foundations, in the roots of the flow coaching methodology. And next slide, please. I want to talk about our principles as well. So more than anything else, I have to mention that we believe in a holistic approach. And we really approach whomever we are coaching, whether we are coaching executives, whether we are coaching business owners, whether we are coaching parents, whether we are coaching individuals from different backgrounds, doesn't matter. People are people, and our approach is always holistic. So we coach them on different dimensions, multiple dimensions, including mental, emotional, cognitive, spiritual, relational, cultural, and so on. So we believe that change is sustainable if you coach the whole person. People are people. And um, I want to just, maybe give a list of some of the flow coaching principles. There are 16 principles that we teach in our program. But just to give you an idea about what they are, is the first one is we believe that life is a continuous creative process. That's very important. And we have that capacity to create. Um, and the person inherently is a whole and unique. We believe that each person is unique, and that's why they know what flow looks like. They know what flow means to them. They have the answers within themselves, and our job as a coach is to facilitate a process of growth and awareness for them. And we have a systems approach. So we believe that the whole is sum of the parts, and the parts are all related to one another. So if there is a positive shift in one area of life, one aspect of life, or one aspect of the person, it affects the whole system in a positive way. And I want to tell you two more because those are really very important to me. So our memory and imagination use the same neurological pathways, which is very cool. I find it very cool. So the two are equal in our thought process. Think about this. And if something is possible in the world, it's possible for me. So that's very empowering and enabling, right? So those are some of the principles that constitutes our philosophy and foundations. I hope you find them inspiring, because I find them very inspiring. And so let's see, what else do we have? What else do we have? Can we move on? Okay. Elizabeth gave you an example of having a manual like this thick in another program that she completed. And our approach is a bit different. I believe, having coached more than 5,000 hours, I don't even remember how many people, but maybe thousands. And I believe in this simple principle: less is more in coaching. So I believe in lean coaching. And that's why we don't overwhelm you. We stimulate you intellectually, I guarantee that, but without overwhelming you. And becoming a good coach, becoming an effective coach, becoming a skillful coach is possible only through practice, practice, practice. So our program and the curriculum, the whole curriculum, is designed to give you that practice. That's very important. That's crucial. That's one of the main components of our program. We provide you abundant opportunities to practice. Okay, that's very important. And coming back to the flow methodology and the flow states, one of the founders of positive psychology, Mihaly, who was a psychologist, he said that, if we just leave our minds to their natural state, the natural state of the mind is chaos. Chaos means that our mind is a traveler. We travel between the regrets of the past and the worries of the future. We stress about the things. If the mind is left to its natural state. However, the good thing is that, and that's where neuroscience and research of positive psychology comes in. Life beyond anxiety and stress and boredom is possible. And what positive psychology and neuroscience gave us is the framework of what is possible. how flow is possible, how experiencing flow state is possible, and what happens to our brain when we are in a flow state. We release all those happiness enzymes and like dopamine and neurotransmitters, and all kinds of like motivation neurotransmitters. However, they tell us what is possible, but um, science doesn't give us the tools or the protocol. What we did at Flow Coaching Institute is using that framework, we turned it into a practical and implementable series of tools so that you can start designing your flow experiencing by learning about those tools. So, one of those tools is our 5-step flow coaching methodology, which takes us and then trains our attention to move away from burnout, anxiety, and stress, or boredom and apathy into meaningful goals, trains our attention to set up meaningful goals, meaningful intentions, and then through a 5-step methodology: awareness, motivation, creative planning, achievement, and focus, teaches us and maybe even takes us to a journey of achieving that flow in a desired aspect of ourselves or desired aspect of life holistically. So that's what we did. That's why the flow coaching methodology is not only a theory, it's backed up by science, but it's the art of transforming that science into a practical tool that is available and accessible for everyone, not only for scientists. Okay, so we have a question: how flow can help productivity, habits forming, and decrease anxiety? That's a great question. Thank you, Eugenia. So, flow, first of all, one of the key skills that we can learn according to the psychology of flow is to discipline our attention. And it's not easy. Saying it is easy, but knowing from my own life, I know that it's not easy. It requires a lot of repetition and also an external support. When you don't have an internal skill, an external support is needed. And this understanding how flow works is the first step. So, what you need to do as a first step is to reflect about in what area of your life or yourself you need to experience flow. Is it self-esteem? Is it relationships? Is it love? Is it money, financials? Is it career? Is it work? Is it success? Whatever, you name it. Parenting, romance, you name it. In what area of your life you need to experience flow? So that's the first step. And it's a journey. This is such a big question, by the way. I wish there was just, an answer, but I'm giving you some coaching tips, self coaching tips. And then choose one area. Just choose one area. So if you want to decrease your anxiety, if that is one area, because anxiety is mind blocking, and there's a physiology behind it. I understand that. So just ask yourself, if I didn't have this anxiety, what would flow look like for me? What would flow mean to me? And describe it and then visualize it. If you can't visualize it, that's okay. Just write it down. Whatever comes to you. If I didn't have this anxiety, I would have flow, and it would feel like this, it would look like this. I would be experiencing flow in this and this and this. So describe that. And repeat this every day, a few times a day, until the answers start to come to you naturally. Because you're forming a habit, a thinking habit, by doing this as well. And then if you feel like, controlling your attention, and it means that your focus abilities will increase. And then choose 1, 2, 3 areas, prioritize 1, 2, 3 areas, and ask for each area what needs to be improved to become more productive. Is it your distraction, or is it your habits around studying and working? What does productivity mean to you? And when you are able to discipline your attention and form habits around work, studying, prioritization, managing distractions, and then self-regulation of your emotional mood states, because we all travel, the mind travels, and what can help is having meaningful goals, having a mission, and bringing your attention to that mission, to that meaningful goal, and then do something every day about this, like really small things. Don't try to do everything all at once. Just one thing, two things, 3 things every day, and reflect, as I shared with you, and maybe journal also. And you will realize that you will achieve more after a week, after 2 weeks, after 3 weeks, and in 3 months, things will look different in your life. 3 months is the key. So practicing 3 months is the key. I hope this has been useful. But that's such a great question. Thank you. Amazing question. And a few things, because we received questions about our programs and the certification types as well. So I'm not gonna just, bombard you with the certification types, etc., but just, to give you an idea about what International Coaching Federation's certification tracks are about. There are 2 levels of certification tracks defined by the International Coaching Federation. The most advanced one and the all-inclusive one is called Level 2 certification. And Level 2 certification leads us to credentials. And the entry-level credential is ACC, which means Associate Certified Coach. And a more advanced credential is PCC, which means Professional Certified Coach. So the ICF Level 2 certification takes you to both ACC and PCC. That's why it is called as all-inclusive advanced coaching certification, and it covers modules 1 to 6. Elizabeth, I forgot, I was so much in the flow. Do you want to add, or do you have anything that you would like to share with our audience?
No, not at this time. I'm immersed. This is wonderful. Thank you.
Pleasure. And there are 2 programs that are part of the level 2, both level 2 and level 1 certification tracks. They are called the Flow Core Foundations Coaching and the Flow Business Coaching programs. And yes. And the second certification track that is described by the International Coaching Federation is called Level 1 certification. And Level 1 certification leads you to the entry level credential, which is ACC, Associate Certified Coach. So our modules 1 to 6 is level 2 certification track, and our modules 1 to 5 plus mentoring module is level 1 certification track. But please, I know that there's a lot of acronyms, there's a lot of components. I know it's overwhelming and confusing in the beginning. Please do not hesitate to reach out to us at info@flowcoachinginstitute.com. You can also call us from our Toronto office or our toll-free office. Our website has all the information, www.flowcoachinginstitute.com, but we are happy to assist you. You can book a free consultation call, and we can take you through these components. We know that in the beginning it's like, so many acronyms. Elizabeth, yes.
Yes, I
Thank
do have
you.
something to add. um, it can be very confusing. I was extremely confused at the beginning. And I highly suggest that everybody do go on to the International Coaching Federation site itself so that you can read in depth what is required and you'll understand even better. So I think that's very important.
Thank you. Thank you, Elizabeth. Wonderful. So these are the tracks right now, and we have some upcoming programs. Oh, we have a question. The all-inclusive, you're eligible for it. Yes, Dandra. So if you take the all-inclusive level 2, you're eligible for a PCC at the end. It takes you all the way up to PCC. And one thing, this is a great question. Can we bring the level 2 slide, please, and the question simultaneously? Yeah. Can we bring the question? Yes. So not everyone understands this, but when you finish level 2 program, you're eligible to both ACC and PCC. So there are two options. You have two options. Once you have the coaching experience hours, AI is giving me all kinds of like balloons and we're partying here. Out of my control. Sorry. So I was saying, yes, once you finish level 2 and you have enough coaching experience hours, you have two options when you finish level 2. You can say, okay, I will apply for ACC first, and then I will apply for PCC. With your level 2, you're able to do this. Or you can say, I have enough hours. I will apply for PCC. I will skip ACC. With level 2 certification, that is possible. So both options are possible. Yeah, it takes you all the way up to PCC. Elizabeth, yes.
How many hours does it take to be ACC and PCC? And PCC is Professional Certified Coach, and ACC is
Associate.
Associate Certified Coach. So I'm wondering about the difference in hours. I'm assuming some others are as well.
Wonderful question. Thank you, Elizabeth. So for the ACC credential, what you need is, in terms of the coaching experience hours, only 100 hours of coaching experience. For PCC, you need 500 coaching experience hours. And we have a lot of students, by the way, by the end of module 6, they had the hours for PCC and they applied for PCC. They skipped ACC. But some people prefer to go for ACC first and then become PCC. And for Master Certified Coaching Credential, MCC, I am an MCC coach, by the way, you need 2,500 coaching experience hours. Great question. Thank you for the question. Yes. So we have some upcoming cohorts in case you're ready to take the next step. The core foundations, the fast track flow coaching core foundations modules 1 to 5 certification, which is a 15 weeks program, begins on March 14 on Thursdays from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. Eastern time. So the fast track program takes about 15 weeks, and the classes are once a week for 2 hours on the same day and time of the week. And then there is a peer coaching practice in between the sessions. And some people want to do everything together, and they prefer an intensive calendar. And spring intensive is coming up too, based on demand. It's a 3-week program. Intensive is really intensive, by the way. It's not 3 days though, it's 3 weeks. So still give you time to digest. It's from Monday to Friday, starts on March 18, from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. Eastern time. So we are in Toronto. We are based in Toronto. All of our timings are based on North American Eastern time, if you are in a different time zone. And then we also have a spring intensive flow business coaching, modules 1 to 5 certification, which starts in April, mid-April, from Monday to Friday. And that's a 3-week program too. My team made a mistake. It's not a 15 weeks program. The intensive program is only 3 weeks, and the fast track program is 15 weeks. Okay, if you have any questions. So these are for the modules 1 to 5, by the way. And on top of this, depending on the certification track, whether level 1 or level 2, for level 1, you add individual mentoring session and oral assessment and performance evaluation. And for level 2, you only add module 6. So, but everything starts with modules 1 to 5. So you have to go through modules 1 to 5. Elena, where to find your first clients? Elena, depends. This is such a broad topic that we discuss in our programs with detail. So depends on who your audience is, who you want to target. For me, I knew that I was going to be an executive coach and corporate coach. So it was corporations and organizations. For others, like parents or life coaching and business coaching, etc. So they join networking meetings. They connect with their network. Like yesterday, for example, I coached one of our student coaches. She has some neurodiverse background, some learning disability, ADHD, etc. So she's finding a lot of clients with such a background, because that's where her passion is. Where is your passion, and what is your network? And we have those conversations during the class time, if you're coming to one of our programs. And maybe one thing to add to that, we also give abundant opportunities to our student coaches once they finish modules 1 to 5 to coach either pro bono or some paid partnerships as well through our partnering organizations such as Women in STEM Toronto or Schulich Business School, etc. So there are multiple opportunities for you. Okay, and so I just, look at the time. We still have 1 minute, and do we have other slides? Like, another slide to, oh, okay, we have, maybe just mention about level 2. So module 6, level 2, all-inclusive advanced flow coaching certification begins in March, on March 23rd. So this module 6, is takes about 5 to 6 months to complete. And there are practicum classes once or twice a month on Saturdays from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern time. And what we do during those like group practicum classes is we really focus on honing up and refining our coaching skills. So you receive a lot of mentoring and a lot of feedback from us, MCC and PCC coaches. And one more thing, Flow Expressive Arts Coaching Certification Training also begins on March 20th. Yes, Elizabeth, yes. Close to our hearts. It's such a wonderful program. You learn the nonverbal communication tools to coach, a lot of creativity, coaching the subconscious systems. So it's wonderful, and it's really transformational, and it's very experiential, very experiential. What I believe in is that you find these days, you find all kinds of information on YouTube, etc., 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 right? But what you don't find is the experience. So our programs give you the experience. That's so. Elizabeth, do you want to say a few words about expressive arts coaching, and then we close the session?
Well, it's very dear to my heart. It's very experiential. You have tools that you can take away with you. And what I love about it is you are creating new neural pathways in your brain. And when you are in a state of flow or you're doing an exercise, perhaps you're making a drawing connected to finding a flow state or connected to a goal you're working on, you are creating new pathways, as I said, in your brain and your body and deepening them. And it's a beautiful feeling. So I'm a big fan. Thank you.
Wonderful. I'm a big fan too, although I'm teaching it. I just love it so much. Wonderful. So thank you for being with us, for joining us today. We had so much fun, and I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you found it really useful. And we would love to see you in the upcoming programs. Do we have the promotion slide? So one thing, yes, special offer. So wait for an email from us. We will send you an email in the next few days. And there will be a discount code. And by using that code, you can enroll in one of the ICF certification programs that we offer with an exclusive 5% discount. Or you can email us. You can reach out to us, and we will definitely help you if you were in this live session. Wonderful. Wonderful. Air hugs. Bye. Bye.
Everybody, flow.
Bye.
Bye.